Hi there, my name is Paul Zajac.
And I'm Kivy.
Welcome to D&D ESPN. This is the channel where we smash together Dungeons & Dragons and sports commentary.
Kind of.
This time we're going to look at a interesting application of a spell, and that's it. Let's watch the clip, and then we'll talk about it.
Then best option to give him. I'm gonna mind spike him instead.
Okay. So they're in combat.
Fails.
Okay. Failed. Perfect. He takes 12 points of psychic damage, and I have concentration for up to an hour, and I'll know where he is so long as I am on the same plane of existence and he's not dead.
Nice.
All right. So I'm assuming that hits. So non-lethal damage.
Yeah, he's knocked out.
Bonk him. All right.
Unconscious Sahagin on the floor.
Wow. Gonna jump on us.
Before you wake him up, hang on. I've got an idea. I'm still concentrating on my spell with him, and I know where he is for at least an hour. If maybe you think he knows where, maybe there's a bigger conspiracy and he can lead us back to wherever it is he came from. I'm like clearly something happened here. So, and he didn't come from here. We don't know. I mean, if you want to question him and let him go, do you want to just hide and see if he wakes up and leaves? We can follow him.
Okay. Using Mind Spike to track people. Kivy, what are your thoughts?
Love it. Third level characters, third level players, you don't have a ton of magical options to do things. It's kind of what's fun about playing at this level is because you have to get a little bit more creative with what you do have. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to locate him later. No, you have to kind of use the tools in your arsenal. I think this was an interesting and really fun use of Mind Spike. And I think the way the players kind of approached it was really interesting. And I think that kind of changed the way this game ended up playing out. So I thought that was really cool. And I know that that's kind of an interesting way to kind of approach something like, let's let this guy go and see where he goes. That's not something low-level characters are always going to want to do. It's very much like a hack and slash. Let's kill the baddies and figure it out later. So I thought it was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting application, both as a role-playing thing and like some on-the-spot MacGyvering, like how can we solve this situation? And it took a combat situation and turned it back into an exploration situation. And so that spell had this transitional application, useful in combat, useful in exploration. And that made me think about, somewhere some designer was like, okay, we need a new spell. Okay, can we mash up two different pillars of play, damage and exploration? And they came up with the spell. And I think it was a clever use of the spell, and it was clever for somebody to invent the spell that did those two things. I was thinking about other tracking options, and so we'll put it up here on the screen. Hunter's Mark, duly so for Rangers, is a really good tracking option. Then you've got Mind Spike, which I hadn't really, considered in this situation before. Then there's a number of locate spells, right? Locate person, locate object, locate monster. And those are kind of like the most obvious and on the nose tracking things. You could use other spells, of course, like, speak with animals to get some clues. You could dominate somebody and go, hey, tell me where the Sahagin went. But just specifically with this spell, I thought, as you identified, really cool combination of tracking and damage. I don't know. Anything else?
I think overall, it's nice to know that those options are out there. And I mean, even some of those you wouldn't necessarily think of as a tracking spell or a way to track somebody, but you kind of are sometimes just kind of absolutely have to like sit back in your chair with the things that your players will come up with when you are DMing a game, or even kind of what your fellow players will figure out as you're playing with them. And leaning into that as a DM or a player is always a lot of fun too. Just to kind of see, there's so many spells available in the different resources for this edition of this game. And kind of, it's really easy sometimes to look at something like Mind Spike and be like, oh, that's fine, or, kind of pass by it. But overall, I think once you start seeing some of this use of it in a more creative way, those spells that kind of maybe aren't your necessarily those must take spells all the time suddenly become a lot more interesting. So Mind Spike is definitely kind of a cool one in this
Yeah,
way.
I could see like tier ranking out, tier rank, Mind Spike, B tier, whatever. But this was awesome, right? This spell did a lot in this situation. All right, that's it for this time. If you want to see the full episode from which this clip came from, you can watch it on our second channel, D&D SPN2, The Deuce. And if you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. It helps us out. See you next time.